Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for tuning in either way. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Today we're going to be talking about politics. We're going to be doing some political energy reading. I'm also probably going to make some political predictions. I am channeling my spirit guides. They're about 60%. I'm about 40%. That means Susan, the 40% of this transmission is going to humanize what they're saying. And that also means that I can muck it up because if you're ever going to muck something up, it's going to be your human brain part of the equation that's going to do it. Even if you're reading tarot, you still have to translate the cards or figure out what that energy is saying. Any kind of divination requires a human component unless you're completely channeling it, which I've done. I've got these things on my playlist before, but my spirit guides and I think that this is a better way to do it because they feel like a human communicating to another human is better. It gets the transmission of the information is better and more enjoyable is what they're saying. So hopefully you guys enjoy these transmissions. If you're noticing something new today, you might be noticing that, hey, my background is different and there's a dog back there. That is my dog, Zoe. And it is a different background because in the summer, I have been known to escape Texas and the heat and head north. I have done so once again. This is the third year that I've escaped Texas in the heat, or South Texas or the coastal Texas, and gone up to the mountains or someplace that has even a little bit less heat. So that's what's different. If you're wondering, where is Susan at? Well, she's gone. She has fled Texas for a month. So you're going to be seeing a different background for a little bit. So also really quickly, because I'm not good at this kind of thing, I want to tell you something really cool that is happening. Last year, I had my Connect to Empower event. It sold out. It was great. It was in Chicago. This year, I'm having my second annual. I'm doing it again because why not? Everybody really did enjoy it. It was transformational for me, for my speakers, for the people who attended. And my spirit guides just kept kicking me into my butt until I did it. So I've done it. We are going to have number 2, Connect to Empower. It is going to be in Denver, Colorado. It is going to be in October 13th and 14th, which is a Sunday and a Monday. That Monday is a holiday for some of you. It is Columbus/Indigenous Peoples Day. We are going to pack it in, you guys. I'm going to be speaking, of course. I'm going to be teaching you guys, but also I'm bringing 4 other amazing psychics, mediums, healers with me. You will get over 12 hours of instruction at this event. You will come away a changed person. That is not hyperbole. That is what people told me what happened last year. So if you want more information about that, please check out my website at SusanLynnMedium.com. I'll leave some information here in the description of this video as well. It's 2 days, 5 psychics. Also, what's super different than last year is that you're going to have, each of us is going to give you a presentation to the whole group. Then you're going to go to a smaller group and have what the spirit guides have told me is going to be a breakout room experience. So then you're going to deepen that mastery, that knowledge, whatever it was that you got from that presenter in the main group. You're going to say, yep, I want to learn more about that. You're going to go into a smaller room where you're actually going to get more intimate, more hands-on, more deeper information. And a lot of times you're going to actually leave not only with knowledge and experience and a vibrational change, and also just as important as all that, your community. These are your people. If you've been wanting to meet more people, if you've been wanting to expand your spiritual community, this is a great way to do it because these are the best people on the planet that come to these things. They come to my things anyway. I can vouch for mine, don't know about everybody else's. The other thing is that some of my presenters are going to be, you're going to be actually making things there to take with you, medicine bags, different things that are going to help you take this energy to the next level for the whole next year. Okay. So if you're interested, it's on sale, $559, $70 off for the next few weeks. $559. It's already half sold out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say that, but I always announce things to my members. I have a very vibrant, fun, just really awesome online community, which you can join if you will like. But I always honor those people first. It's $12 a month, but they get first dibs on everything. They've already bought half of the tickets. Also, my previous clients and my students. So now I'm opening up to all of YouTube. I hope you'll consider joining us. It is a phenomenal 2 days. If any of you guys have been to Connect to Empower last year and you want to tell the people in the comments your opinions, whether it's good, bad, indifferent, whatever, feel free to explain to the people in the comments, hey, I went and this was my experience, right? Nothing like hearing it from the horse's mouth, whether it's good, bad, indifferent, or ugly, it's going to be there for you to see. Okay, let's get moving. Okay, again, that's SusanLynnMedium.com. Let's get moving. We got to talk about some politics, y'all, because the world is really cool right now. Really. I mean, sure, a lot of things are happening, but what I love about what's happening is this energy around Kamala Harris. If you're not watching TikTok, if you're not on social media, you may not even know about what is happening, because what is happening is a groundswell of energy. Again, the guides in the last video, they said ghost voters. Remember, they said these voters that are just like nobody's paying attention to. Well, it turns out that they're engaged and they're becoming more visible. And it all started with the Black women's Zoom call. Win with Black women, I think is what it was called. That's what kicked this off. That was the energy that kicked it off. They said, this is the moment we've been waiting for. We are the people we've been waiting for. Let's get it done. We understand the assignment. Wow. 40,000 women, Black women, showed up like with no notice, broke Zoom, literally broke the Zoom app. That's what really started us all off. And now, if you're not plugged into the news, let me just say that there's been a white women for Kamala, white dudes for Kamala. I think tonight is Latinos for Kamala. There's deadheads for Kamala. There's cat women, childless cat women for Kamala. Somebody's trying to do dogs for Kamala. So look, they're all groups. There was actually a gay and lesbian for Kamala. There was a Native American indigenous for Kamala. These are all groups that said on social media, hey, I'm gonna host a Zoom, join me. And then thousands and thousands and thousands of people and multi-millions of dollars have been raised through this very sort of ghost, we didn't know about these people. Who were these people? Where have they been? Have they been under a rock? We really could have used this, right? Like 2 years ago, but the time is right. The candidate is right. Everything is lining up. And what I feel like is we had a timeline jump. Now, I've told you guys before, especially those of you that watch my spiritual videos, that physics actually has determined that our time is speeding up. So if you feel like, where are the days going? Well, it actually is happening. But one of the things that really blew my mind, even though the guides, my spirit guides, predicted Kamala would be president a year ago, 4 years ago, actually, but they talked about it as recently as a year ago. They talked about it as recently as the Sunday that she did it. But anyway, the thing that surprised me was the energy shift, because I read energy for a living, right? Like, I can't tell you exactly what Kamala Harris is going to do, because Kamala Harris has a lot of people and a lot of energies buffeting her. If I was doing a reading for you and you were asking me about your job, your boss, your spouse, your kid, that's a lot easier, because I only have to take into consideration you and 1, 2, 3, 4 other people. Kamala Harris, you've got to take into consideration probably a good, at least 50 people, with 30 of them, 30 people really having her ear and trying to give her advice. So right now she's being buffeted by a lot of advice. But the thing that surprised me was I saw this happening in 2026, and I talked about it in videos. I told you guys, I said, look, what concerns me is in 2026 and the midterms, I see all these young voters coming out and voting for what they want. Like, they're not going to vote for the regular Democratic candidate. They're not going to vote for the establishment. They're going to go rogue. They're going to vote whatever direction they feel like voting, and they're going to have the numbers, and they're going to be really just energized. Well, I think by having sort of an anti-establishment candidate like Kamala Harris, because I really do think that she's not your typical Democratic establishment pick. I don't think Nancy Pelosi wanted her. I think Nancy Pelosi wanted both Biden and Harris to leave the stage and let her put her own picks in there. So already we have a wild pick, somebody who's just not what the establishment wants. And that has energized this base that was going to come out in 2026. And instead, they're like, wow, we love this woman. We're doing it now. And you guys think about it. Like, Kamala Harris ran against Biden for president and really couldn't get any energy. But now is her time. You cannot deny this, right? Biden ran so many times and lost. He finally won when it was his time. I've always predicted as soon as I saw her, she was going to be president. She's going to be called the law and order president. The guides told me this from the minute before Biden even won the presidency, when he just picked her for his VP. I told you guys, I've been doing videos about this, and here we are. But but again, what I was surprised about, I saw her from my spirit guides said she's going to be the law and order president. They said she's going to be fair. She may not be the most popular president in the middle of her term, but she's going to be fair. Okay. I didn't see these young, TikTok kids anointing her as their leader. I didn't see that. I totally was completely taken aback by that. However, I will say that we all felt the energy on that Sunday, sad as it was, and I'm still sad for President Biden, and still sad about the way it went down, and angry about the way it went down. But we have to vote blue, no matter who. We got to vote for Pelosi and Schiff. We've got to, because if you don't have a Congress, if you don't give Kamala Harris a Congress, you're doing her a big disservice. She can't do anything without the Congress. Okay. So I think it's interesting that these kids have really gotten behind her. And I just want to say, one of the reasons, I think there's a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is because of her laughter, which the Republicans are trying to say is her problem, but it's not her problem. Do you realize we haven't laughed since 2016?
They want to know now.
We haven't laughed. We haven't had joy. We haven't had exuberance. Have we danced? Have we laughed? No. Here's Kamala Harris dancing. Here's Kamala Harris laughing. Here's Kamala Harris enjoying her life. My God, she's not our president. She's going to be so much more for us. She's lifting us up. She's showing us there is light. There is going to be life. We are going to be okay. She's transcended president. She has gone to some other level of energetic spokesperson. And here's the thing, they're never going to catch her. Never. Trump is never going to catch her. Vance is never going to catch her. Nobody is ever going to catch her because they don't understand what's propelling her. They can't fight what they don't get. You can't fight her because she's inherently joyful. She's inherently happy. And she's also inherently a prosecutor. That's a deadly combination, right? Number one. And number two, they don't understand these kids. Who was it just in the last 24 hours? This sums everything up. In the last 24 hours, you guys, Kamala Harris wrote her campaign wrote a statement, and it had bullet points, and it said, "This is what we are against with the Trump administration. This is what we think is wrong with this administration." One of the bullet points was, he's weird. And when it came out, a lot of the politicos who we shouldn't be listening to, a lot of the political people who don't get what's going on anymore than 45 gets, they're all clueless. They don't get it. They need to spend a lot more time on TikTok. The TikTokers took the weird comment and ran with it and started making all these memes about 45 is weird. Republicans are weird. Well, then it escaped TikTok the way everything does, and it ended up on Twitter or X and Threads, and I don't know where else it ended up. And it probably ended up in your email as well. And the funny thing is that of all the things that people have said about 45, I mean, just think about all the things: adjudicated rapist, convict, liar, fraud, thief. I mean, all the things that are really true, 100% provable. Calling him weird has upset him more than any of those things. And calling the Republicans weird has really upset them. Vivek, the guy that tried to be the VP, that tried to be the president, he came out and said, "Why are the Democrats calling us weird? You shouldn't call us weird. That's not nice." This guy is saying that. It's not nice. You shouldn't do that. These are the people that say the most unbelievably horrible things about everybody else. And now they're like, "You hurt our feelings. We found our feelings. We found them, and now they're hurt." Really? Weird? Okay, fine. So guess what? The internet is now cudgeling, just beating them over the head with weird. I hope you see bumper stickers. I hope you see signs. I hope you share the heck out of it, because it actually really gets under their skin. It unnerves them. And the guides are saying, look, I don't understand it. If anybody would ever understand a MAGA, you'd probably go blind and crazy all at the same time. And who wants to do that? None of us, right? But the spirit guides are saying this calling them weird thing is like, if you want to think about the MAGAs, their brain, if you want to think about it being a sealed door, because it's a sealed door. You can't open it. There's no sunlight in there. There's no air in there. Don't even think about what it smells like. But calling them weird starts to pry the door open, like you had like a crowbar of sanity, and you were like kind of letting some fresh air in there, hold your nose the whole time. But anyway, it's helping them go, are we weird? Look at those pictures. We're weird. Like there's pictures of a woman wearing a diaper saying real men wear diapers, but she's a woman. Is she trans? Which is cool. But is she trying to say, you know what I mean? Like they're so weird. They're just weird people. Okay. And I think they're having a moment of, wait, am I weird? Am I weird? Am I weird? Right? They're having a moment of self-reflection and understanding. It couldn't happen to a better group of people or at a better time. So you're seeing the Republican Party literally fall apart. You're also going to see, newsflash, because we've all been predicting, I've got a video called The End of the Republican Party that I did just about a year ago, a year and 1 month ago from today. So we've been predicting this. But here's something new that I didn't see either, because if you don't ask the question, you're not going to get the answer. And if you think that you already know what the situation is and you have these blinders on, you're never going to ask about that over there, because you're never going to look over there. So I never looked at the Democratic Party pulling the rug out from under Biden. I didn't see that coming because I didn't even ask the question. I looked at Biden stepping down. I looked at Kamala stepping up, but how it went down, that was a surprise. Sorry about my, hello, focus. Yes, it's focusing. It's low light in here, and my camera's like, I don't know what this woman is doing or what kind of cave she is broadcasting from, but we didn't sign up for this. We are not an expensive camera. What is she thinking? I didn't ask the question about all of the things that I saw. I saw Biden stepping down because of a health thing, and I said this in many videos. And I don't know. I don't really think he stepped down because of a health thing. He didn't even lie to us and say, I mean, I really respect that about him. He did have COVID theoretically when he stepped down. So maybe that's something, I don't know. I didn't see Nancy Pelosi coming for Biden. So the thing I'm about to say is that now that I'm looking in the right place, or I'm at least looking in a place where I haven't looked before, I'm seeing how Kamala Harris is really going to kind of break up the Democratic Party. I don't think this is a bad thing. I think this is a good thing. I think that what she's doing is she's saying, and this is the reason why this all makes sense. I hope you can connect the dots. The reason everybody's behind her, and I mean everybody, I mean all these people that we don't even see, that we're not even counting. Nobody knew 40,000 Black women would show up with like 3 hours notice. No one saw that coming. No one is, they're the ghost voters is what the guides talked about. They're people that we never saw coming. The reason they're showing up for her is because she's not establishment. She's not, she's not come through that pressure cooker of democratic process. When I say Democrat, I mean like like the school, like, you're going to be a junior senator or a junior rep, and then you're going to work your way through and you're going to get the rank, and you're going to get, she was just there for, by that standard, not very long. And she never really bought into the establishment. You know who they're showing me is they're showing me Jasmine Crockett. She's another woman who is not going to follow in exact footsteps with Nancy Pelosi or anybody else. She's going to call her own shots. She really is forging her own path. Now, for this reason, Kamala Harris is not really of the establishment. I think that's why Nancy Pelosi wasn't that crazy about her. Obviously, Nancy Pelosi said, well, we're going to give you, what I read energetically was Nancy said, okay, Biden steps down on Sunday. We're going to give you a couple of days to get it, to see how you do. And if you don't do, then we're going to have a primary at our convention. That's what I was terrified about, because a primary at our convention would have been terrible. And look what happened that night. Like the very next night or that night, Black women showed up big and put her on the board. It's because Kamala is the sort of lone wolf. She's the woman who's doing it her way. That's the reason why all these people are voting for her. All these people are energized, because these kids, and I call them kids, but I mean even millennials, Gen Z, whoever they are energized by Kamala Harris because they understand she's not establishment. She's not going to do things the way they've always been done. So instead of waiting to 26, here they are in 24. And so the Republican Party is never going to understand this, because they're not in tune with these new voters. Again, ghost voters who are bursting on the scene. Nobody's ever seen them before. They're energized. The numbers are insane. The numbers of these voters that are showing up to register to vote, to volunteer, and to work for her campaign. She actually had so many applicants, she couldn't get them all on board. She had to say, look, we've got your application, but we're going to have to get back with you in a few weeks, because we can't even handle the applicants we have. That's a good problem to have, right? But this is why they're never going to see it coming, and they've got no antidote. The spirit guides are saying there's no antidote for this. This is a surge, and it's going to happen. End of story. No matter what, it's just going to happen. There's no stopping it. It's bigger. It's even bigger than Kamala Harris. It's like joy and life and love and fairness, justice, all these key words have been activated. And she happens to be the flag bearer, the standard bearer of activating those energies. So it just matched. She matched the moment matched her. I knew she was going to be president. I just didn't know that she was going to be president with this kind of a surge of support. And that's really good for us to know, because that also means that I think that what they're showing me is the things that we would have gotten done in 26, I think we're going to get done in 25, because what the spirit guide said, and I've said this in many videos, was yes, the Democrats are going to win in 24, but they have 2 short years to get big things done. And I mean, big, big, big things done through Congress into law, or else in 2026, these Gen Z voters and even the voters who can't vote now, but will be able to vote in 26, they're going to have a referendum on the Democratic Party. And that's when I said in videos, all hell might break loose, because they may vote for anything. I told you guys in these other videos, I said, we don't even know these voters. We don't even know what they want. We don't know what is impacting them, what they would vote for. And here it is, right there. We don't know them. We don't even know these people. Like, what do you want, right? What makes you want to get out there and canvass for Kamala Harris? What makes you want to give your money to Kamala Harris? What makes you want to get involved in her campaign in other ways? We don't even know. We just know they're doing it. We just know they're doing it, right? So I do think that Kamala Harris is going to break up the Democratic Party. And I think that 45 is going to break up the Republican Party. And I think this is good, because personally, I think that we need 4 parties. And I've said this for years, but people always tell me, it's impossible, Susan. We're never going to have more parties. Well, we are now living in the land of impossible, are we not? Like, we have now arrived to a city called impossible, because we are breaking down the doors that are named impossible almost on an hourly basis with all of the things that are happening. So yes, I do see us having 4 parties. I see, and the funny thing is that Kamala Harris can actually be, she's the law and order president, you guys. That's what they keep telling me. So she can be conservative, but she can also be very socially liberal. So this is a new combination of energy for us. Not to mention, she's a Black South Asian woman, right? I mean, my God, we are again in the land where impossible is possible. So, and that's youth energy, is it not? The youth are always the ones who say, why not? Why can't we do it? It's just us old fuddy-duddies like me that's like, well, because it's never been done like that before. Well, the youth is always the one saying, that's stupid. That's a stupid reason. We're going to do it this way, and we're going to do it the new way. So here we are, right? So I've caught you guys up. I've had a few interruptions. Hopefully the video is not too disrupted. Let me go to some of your, because I've had these interruptions, I don't know what I've really said on channeling. So I never know what I've said anyway. So now I'm really lost. So I'm going to go to some of your questions, and we'll see how this all works together. Again, I want to reiterate that the energy right now is bonkers, okay? Because the Republicans never saw, in a million years, they never saw Kamala being the president or the president-elect. They have no game plan. They didn't spend 4 years, doing a character assassination on her. Remember Michelle Obama? Remember Hillary? Even when Hillary was married to Bill? Remember their daughter? They did a character assassination on these people the whole time they were in office. Well, here Kamala Harris has been the VP for 4 years, and they haven't even squawked about, they haven't said one thing about her. It's almost like Spirit gave her a cloak of invisibility, right? Because here we are, they're scrambling. They're scrambling to get their Russian bot farms together to get some information. I mean, they're literally trying to figure out who's her dad, who's her mom, what about Doug, where did she go to school? They're literally trying to create their, attack on her way after the fact, and she's already gone. What did the guides tell you guys? My regular viewers will know this. I said the cow had gotten out of the barn about 2 months ago. I don't know when it was. And you guys were like, it's horse, Susan. I'm like, oh yeah. So I don't know what the spirit guides were talking about, but they said it's too late. The cow's already out of the barn. This is the energy they were talking about. Kamala's gone. Beep, beep, road runner, gone. You guys, they're never going to catch up with her. Now, when I say that, I'm going to tell you because somebody wants to know, you guys all want to know who she's going to pick for her VP. I want to know who she's going to pick for her VP. Let me tell you, this is the same energy of Kamala Harris is going to be very polite, but also she's very strategic. So yeah, she's going to be on the phone with Nancy. She's going to listen to everything Nancy Pelosi has to say because Nancy Pelosi is a strategist. She is the general. She's been through so many presidents and so many backstabbings and blah, 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 political intrigue. She has just a wealth of knowledge. Okay. So Kamala's no dummy. She's going to listen. She's going to listen very closely to Nancy Pelosi, but she ain't going to do what she wants her to do. She's not going to do it. She's going to be like, yeah, I got about 3 things of those 150 things you said. I'm going to use 3. Thanks. Bye. And then meanwhile, she's going to send all Nancy's calls to voicemail. Okay. Again, she's not establishment. She understands the moment more than any of those Democrats do. She understands the moment. She understands brat. She understands that she is the brat. She understands weird. She understands all of these colloquialisms, which is a crazy word to use when I'm talking about, slang and Gen Z, right? But that's what the guides want to use because my guides are the original OG old guides. So here's the thing. She's not going to do what Nancy Pelosi wants her to do. Nancy Pelosi wants her to pick, and it is strategy, and maybe it's a good idea. I'm just telling you, it's hard to predict what Kamala is going to do because she's got a very strong vision and a true North Star. Like she's kept her own counsel her whole life, and she's been very successful. So why should she now give away her very tried and true, vision to somebody else? She's not going to do it. So Nancy Pelosi wants her to bring in somebody that's going to bring in a state. I know everybody loves Walz. I love Walz. I don't think it's him. As a matter of fact, the guides told me today, and today is the 30th, which I think is Tuesday. They told me, if you see somebody out there really doing a lot of talking and being very forceful in their talking, they're probably not going to be the VP. The VP is going to be quiet. So today I've seen Josh Shapiro just bringing it, passion, all that. I saw Walz bringing it. These people are amazing proxies. We need them. Thank God we have them. Thank God we have them on our team and in positions of leadership. But you're not hearing too much out of Pete Buttigieg, except for that he's chiming in on important things that have nothing to do with transportation. And this has been going on for a week. You're also not hearing much out of Mark Kelly. You're not hearing him out there beating his chest. I mean, I think he was on one of the calls that I talked about earlier, the Zoom calls. I think it's between those two. I could be wrong. When I go into the energy, Kamala loves Pete Buttigieg. She loves everything about him. She loves his brain. She loves his articulate, very lawyer-like ability to discuss and argue. She respects that about him, being a prosecutor herself. She loves the fact that he's a gay man. She loves the fact that he's got a family and he's so family-oriented, right? I mean, Pete is true blue. What you see is what you get. There's none of this political shenanigans, smarminess happening. He's genuine to a T. She also loves that he's a military guy, that he's a veteran. She loves him. And I'm telling you that I feel like their energy feels like they've had past lives together, or they've done this tag team before. You know, Batman, Robin, Robin, Batman, or Batgirl, Robin, whatever it is. They've done this before. So it feels easy when they're together. And the other thing I would tell you, because this is important, I think, is that because it makes sense of everything I've already said, they just told me, Kamala Harris is not going to be your normal president, obviously, because she's a Black South Asian woman. But no, that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm saying she's not an establishment. She's going to do things her way. And I see her using her VP more. The VP is not going to be like an understudy for a play that, you know, hey, if something happens, I need you to know everything that's going on so you can step in. No. She's gonna use her VP like a captain, like she's the general and they're the captain, is what the spirit guides are saying. So she'll actually utilize the VP to go out and do more. This VP is going to have a much more visible role than any other VP that we've ever seen. You know, of course, people are going to say things about that. They're going to say, oh, she couldn't do it. She had to send the man or whatever. I don't care. If you're watching any kind of news, and that even goes for MSNBC, except for Joy Reid and maybe Lawrence O'Donnell, if you're watching anybody else, they're so lost. They might as well be talking to a tree out in the backyard. They do not know what is going on. They have no clue, and they're not going to help you understand what's going on either. So once she's president, if she starts sending her VP out to do things and they have this sort of role where they tag team, you know, she's going to get grief for that. But I don't care, because the voters that are going to put her in don't care. The voters that are going to put her in are not establishment people. The same way that the Republicans never followed norms, never followed traditions. We thought they were laws. Turns out they were just suggestions. She's not going to follow them either. If it's just a suggestion, and she's going to do it her way. She's not going to follow some outdated tradition just because it's always been done that way. She understands we got to do things differently. So I think her first choice is Buttigieg. And I can't rule out that she will do it because she wants to. But she's also, this is her thinking, she's also open to strategy. Strategy is Mark Kelly would bring her Arizona. He would bring her an area of the country that, you know, you really want the VP to bring you something, right? Bring you some kind of swing state, bring you some kind of voters that you don't have. That's the strategy. Now, what she would say to you is Buttigieg is going to bring the LGBTQ. Buttigieg is going to bring freaking everybody. Everybody loves Buttigieg, period, end of story. Unless you're some Cro-Magnon MAGA weirdo, again, weirdo, you know, you love Buttigieg. I can't tell which way she's going to go. But there's a lot of pressure on her right now. I mean, the kind of pressure that creates diamonds, if you understand what I'm saying, right? Like a lot of pressure on her to do things the way the Democrats have always done. And she does want to give that some weight in her decision, but at the same time, she understands that the way the Democrats have been acting hasn't worked, right? We haven't been able to deal with all the problems that we have with a runaway Republican Party that wants to be dictators. We have to change. We have to adapt. So I'm not sure which way she's going to go. I feel like it's Buttigieg, it's Kelly, then maybe Josh Shapiro. Also, I would say that when I go into Kamala's energy, and I love this about her, she keeps her cards close to her chest. Her energy is locked up. Like she understands psychics. She understands energy. She understands. She was taking notes in that meeting with the CIA when they talked about remote viewers. She was taking notes. She's like, oh, I didn't know about that. Let me put up the shield. So she shields us from her energy. She's very good at that. So the other thing is she's going to be a little harder to predict. Biden was like a golden retriever. Like you could pretty much read him. He could get to a place when pushed that he would do something unusual, but it wasn't typical. And I think Kamala's middle name for the next 4 years is going to be unusual. It's going to be Kamala Unusual Harris. She's going to zig when everybody else zags. That's why these kids love her. Okay. So that's what I think about the VP. Let me see about, let's see. You guys really want to know, Laughing Eagle wants to know a couple of questions about Trump. Will he have a health issue or will he be in jail? This is something really interesting because we've all been predicting, and I've been predicting for a long time that the Republicans, when it gets time to vote, there's nobody on the ticket. And it's chaos. And everybody's writing in, or there's some kind of chaos about the ticket, about what do we do? How do we do this? Now, because I feel like we've jumped timelines, because that was back when Biden was going to be the president, when he was certainly the president-elect at that point. Now we got a whole new ball game. It's like we ended up on another planet called Impossible is Possible planet. So now when I go into the energy, you really have chaos in the Republican Party because Trump doesn't like Vance, never liked Vance. The spirit guide said that there would be a coup at the Republican convention, and there was, because they made 45 take Vance. He didn't want Vance. He doesn't want Vance. Trump wants to be the king. Kings don't need a VP. Kings are kings. Dictators are what dictator do you know has a vice dictator? Nobody, because that guy's probably going to poison you, So Trump never wanted that. I really feel like Trump was leaning towards making Lara Trump or Mike Johnson his VP. He likes a sycophant. He likes somebody he can control. He likes somebody he has dirt on. And he trusts Lara Trump so much that she handles the money. Okay, well, there's nobody besides what's his name who's in jail, his CPA who's in jail, who he trusted as much as he trusts Lara Trump. Okay, so Trump has Vance. Vance is literally getting eviscerated. Oh my God. So the same energy that's percolating in, literally, it's almost like you put the shovel in the ground to dig a garden and you hit oil, and there's literally, the most precious, valuable resource ever is flowing out of the ground. And you're like, what just happened? Because what's happening right now is there's a guy who says, and he's done a video, and it's him, and he says, I'm gay. I live close to where JD Vance lived. And I'm pretty sure that I went on a date with him. And I'm going to say 90% sure that it was him. So, I mean, what do you say to that, right? Like, I mean, this stuff. And then also at the same time, along the same lines, gay guys are finally coming out against not McConnell. Ooh, that was a good one. Against a Graham. Gay guys are finally coming out after all these years and saying, I will swear that I had sex with Graham in 2002. We're talking a long time ago, folks. The tables have turned. The dirt is flowing. So Vance now has people literally going to be coming out of the woodworks, telling all their stories about him. He's done. He's finito. They cannot save his character. They cannot save his. Trump might say, I'm going to fire him. I don't think Trump can fire him because, Trump can do anything. This the Republican Party have showed us they don't care about laws or rules. And obviously our court system doesn't care about holding them accountable to laws or rules either. But theoretically speaking, it's up to the states. The states have already printed the ballots. They've already got money in the game. What could happen is Vance could step down. And I'm going to tell you, Vance could step down. I'm going to say that I'm about 90% sure Vance is somehow or another going to get off of this ticket. Next thing is that when I go into 45's energy, August, this is August. We're in August in like 1 or 2 days. August, what happens? Something happens to him to 45 in August. Well, he's going to be sentenced in September. Something is going to happen that's going to take him out of the running. They're just telling me he's going to be taken out of the running. I don't know how. Spirit, some of these things are not decided so far in advance because 45 is a good lesson for us. And we have multiple exit points. I know this for a fact. I talk to dead people for a living. And I think that 45 was given a pass to live longer to give us more of this lesson. Just think, if 45 had been offed in that fake assassination, but if it hadn't been, or if it had been a double, triple cross or something, we might not even have Kamala Harris. We might not even be in this place of hope and joy that we're in right now. So you understand that we needed 45 to even get here. We need people like Vance who are so horrible that finally shake people awake so that they go, wait a minute, this guy says horrible things about women. I'm really starting to believe that it's not just this carnival barker 45 that's just saying a bunch of stuff he doesn't believe. Wait, he got a VP who says even more horrible stuff. So I think I better take this seriously. I think I need to take this whole thing seriously. I think I need to really get involved in politics. It was the addition of Vance that really started waking people up. So I don't know how 45 is going to exit. And I don't know. I don't think Spirit has decided yet. But I do think right now what I'm getting is that he has and I think we've talked about this in the past, my spirit guides and I, but he has connections to other foreign leaders. Right now they're showing me 45 met with Netanyahu recently. He also met with Viktor Orban recently. We know he's got connections to oligarchs. We know he's got connections to Putin. We know he's called up the Rocket Man when he was the president. So we know that. But what they're telling me is these connections to these other world leaders are going to be his downfall, and perhaps their downfall too. The question is how long the fuse is. You know, you light the fuse. How long is the fuse? Is the fuse going to burn all the way to when Kamala is president and one of her karmic things that she's going to do is deal with 45, is to show the world we need to deal with this man and we're going to deal with this man? Is that something that she needs to do on her watch? Or is the fuse much shorter? And 45 is actually dealt with in some way. Maybe it's even going to prison. And maybe it's in some other way. Before then, it's all about balancing the scales. The guides have talked about this numerous times, right? The planet Earth is out of balance. There's a tolerance because the scales of law, the scales of justice are hardly ever equal. Come on, they're meant to be balanced, which gives you the impression that they're always moving. Sometimes it's not going to be fair. Sometimes it's going to be more than fair. As we balance these scales by getting involved, by supporting Kamala Harris, by getting behind her VP, by standing up to the bullies, then we don't need 45 as a lesson anymore. We don't need it. We've learned the lesson. So the lesson can go away. The class is over. Okay. So that's why I would say whether the fuse is long or short. It just depends. If I had to say right now, the way the energy is going, which is literally at twice the speed that it normally goes, I would say we could be through all of this by the end of the year. Like literally 45 is gone. Netanyahu is gone. Putin is gone. Everybody's gone. And we don't need to drag this into 25. We need to drag the aftermath, is what the guides are saying, the aftermath of these horrible people and their horrible things that they've done. That will be drug into 2025, but not necessarily the actual people, the perpetrators, is what they're saying to me. So hopefully that makes sense. I do think the other thing, and I'm sure it's in here, there's 200 questions like in an hour. I'm sure the other thing, so again, Kamala Harris is the law and order president. And guess what? In 2025, you are really going to look at a wholesale, the words the guides want to use, this wholesale change in the Senate, a wholesale change in Congress. Some of that change is through indictments. We will have a change at the top of the DOJ. Garland will go out. Somebody else will come in. That is something I've been predicting for years, that when Biden, when the beginning of Biden's new presidency, or the beginning of the new presidency in 25, Garland would be out, because I knew this energy in 25 was very different. Like January 25 is very different. And there's a reckoning, is the words that the spirit guides want to use. So look, we have some real problems here. Okay. I never personally, my spirit guides have told me that we never thought that a bullet hit his ear. This would be damaged. There's pictures of his ear from a couple of days ago. His ear looks just like mine, not even a scratch on it. I'm sorry, that's not a bullet. Was it a projectile? Please, for the love of God, tell me what the projectile was from. Also, FBI Director Wray says, we don't know if it was a bullet or not. Are you kidding me? This is the FBI. So another energy that we're going to be dealing with as we go into 25 is the fact that voters are going to be very awake, like the kind of awake where you've had to drive all night and you've just been drinking energy drinks and your eyes are like wired open. You're irritated, you're mad, but you're super wired. Like you're not missing anything. And that's going to be voters. That's going to be Americans, and also just earthlings in 2025. Because the other thing is, remember the whole shenanigans around Princess Catherine, where literally they deep faked videos where they used a stand-in that wasn't her. They tried to dupe the citizens. That's disrespectful of the citizens. And here in the United States, the FBI is trying to dupe us. The Secret Service is trying to dupe us. It's not going to fly. There's going to be a backlash like you've never seen. I kid you not. A reckoning. Okay, the guides are calling it a reckoning. So we go into the Congress, and you're going to talk about indictments for those people. Again, I just allegedly, for entertainment purposes only, I just saw Lindsey Graham, but I've often seen Boebert and MTG and Matt Gaetz and Biggs and all of them, the whole Freedom Caucus plus more. The guides are also reminding me, there's a picture, I will put it on a screen, of a handoff of fake electors, a package of fake electors, handoff from someone to a congressman, I think it is. There's a video or pictures of this. I mean, you can't lie to us and say, here's the ear. You can't lie to us and say, this happened. You can't assume that we're stupid anymore. You can't assume that we're unaware. You can't assume that we're not awakened, because these people are woke up. They're all woke. They're like, what is going on? And thank God we've got this wonderful woman. Let's get behind her. Let's figure this out. She's a prosecutor. She's not going to put up with this. Go back and watch how she interviewed Kavanaugh. She's not going to put up with this. She's going to get to the bottom of it. So it's going to be a reckoning of all of these people that might have had something to do with Jan 6. And not only that, these people that have been involved with other countries like 45 and anybody else that's been complicit in working with other countries to bring down the United States of America. So you're going to see a lot of charges starting to accrue in 2025 and a real balancing of those justice scales. I think you're going to see more movement about the Supreme Court, but when you have this energy of Kamala Harris, which is literally like, I don't know what the guides are showing me. Like if anybody, are you guys astronomers or something? Because they're showing me like an asteroid. And when an asteroid goes into somebody else's orbit, it messes up everybody else's orbit, right? So, or like a magnet. If a magnet gets too close, boom, something's going to come to it. Kamala is that kind of disruptor. So once she becomes the president-elect, I just feel like everything falls apart. Like all the like shoddily taped and glued apparatus that was the Republican Party, it just falls apart. It's like the Wizard of Oz. You know, you pull back the curtain and you're like, you causing all these flying monkeys? What the heck? You know what I mean? Like you're on to them and it's like nothing. It's like this, we've been all panicking over this. So I feel like when she gets to be president-elect, that that energy alone will cause movement on the Supreme Court. Maybe Thomas steps down, maybe Roberts gets investigated, maybe Alito gets investigated, but there's movement. I have seen vacancies, openings on the Supreme Court, not through impeachment, because we need to have the House. Again, we have to work really, really hard to get Congress, because we got to have the House and the Senate to be able to get Supreme Court justices out of there. But the other thing that can get them out is them seeing, and I mean this energetically, imagine a gazillion voters with pitchforks and torches. If they know that the energy has changed and game is over, we are going to be investigated, because if we stay in this body, if we stay in this SCOTUS, we're going to be investigated, because the will of the people is such that the drumbeat is going to get so high that the investigations are going to come. And we know that Kamala Harris is the law and order president. So they're going to be like, I need to go. Like, I forgot that I left laundry in the washing machine and I need to like step down off the court and do laundry. It's really important. You know, they're going to step down. They're going to get out of the way of the energy. So you're going to see this on the Supreme Court, but you're also going to see this with people like McConnell. You're going to see this with 45. You're going to see this with Vance. You're going to see a lot of people just disappearing. It's not going to be a big splash. It's going to be just like a whoop, they're gone. And there's going to be so much happening that we're not going to even pay attention to that. So these great, big, huge, historic things can happen, but happen in such kind of like an anticlimactic way. So that's what I see. Okay. So 2025 is going to be a lot better. It's going to be, I mean, I say it's going to be better, but then the guides show me a bunch of things. It's going to be better because it's going to be better, but we talked about it already. We're going to be dealing with the aftermath of these lying politicians. And I don't care what flavor they are. Well, if they're a Democrat or I don't care. Don't care. If you have broken laws, you will be held accountable, because Kamala Harris is law and order president. She will put somebody in charge of the DOJ that takes this stuff very seriously. And it will move. And she will also, because we'll have this new Congress. And I think that people like Nancy Pelosi are going to get behind her, because what else can you do? It's like get behind her or get run over by her locomotive train. Get on the train or get under the train. It's up to you. Well, they're going to get on it. So I think you're going to see people like that become a little bit more progressive and aggressive when it comes to saying we're going to investigate these judges. We're going to start impeachment processes. We're going to really move. We're not going to do this thing where we're going to lie or dupe our citizens, because that energy is not going to be welcome anymore. Okay. If you've watched to the end of this video, thank you so very much. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you're interested in my event, don't forget to get your tickets, or at least check it out, because like I said, half the tickets are gone. I'm sure this is going to sell out. It's just a matter of when. Right now, you can save $70 on it. And you can find all that information at www.susanlynnmedium.com. Take really good care of yourself, okay? We want to laugh. We want to have fun. We want to dance. And for the love of God, thank God we got us a president who's helping us feel those ways again. Isn't that beautiful? We haven't laughed or danced or had fun since 2016. We've been in a funk. We've been in a depression. We've been under siege. It all ends now. Yes, we've got work to do. Yes, we will do the work. Yes, we're going to deal with the aftermath, which is not going to be pretty because we're going to see with how we were duped. We're going to be mad. We're going to be really mad. But then we're going to focus that energy into laws. We're going to focus that energy into fixing the problem so that we're never duped again. So yes, we're going to have a work cut out for us, but we're going to do the work. Okay? Take really, really good care of yourselves. I'll see you again real soon.